without Booger Smith. Let's talk about it. Getting a lot of phone calls. Y'all come on in. Wake and bake. 100% ginger. 100% ginger. Peace. Thank you. Sparky, what's up? Sparks, I ain't seen you in a minute, man. How you on the handle? I'm maintaining, weight training. You see me. He said that joint spicy. Oh yeah, shout out to DC. He said you still on them burpees? You tell me. Good morning, people. Y'all share this live as y'all coming in here. We gotta talk about the New York City point guard documentary. He said you can't leave out Booger, man. How was your Jamaica trip? All business, all the time. Kaboom. He said, wow. Someone didn't do their homework with Booger Smith. I heard the people got their hands on it again, man. Whenever the people get their hands on it, they gonna fuck it up. Not unless they get consultants. You feel me? He said they need part 2. The New York City point guard documentary couldn't be done in 2 episodes. There's too many of them niggas. You gotta think about it. New York City is famous for point guards. You very rarely find a number 2, a 2 guard out of New York. They rare. There's some, you know, but they're rare shit, I guess. Yeah, they rare. There's so many point guards in New York City, man, and there was some dynamite guys that was left out of there. Sam Worthen, David Edwards. There's more, man. I went over this live stream before I got on here yesterday because I was in a conversation with somebody about it yesterday. David Edwards from Queens, Booger Smith from Brooklyn. The Booger Smith shit was a fatal error. Fatal error. He said amazing documentary. It was amazing. I liked it a lot, but I gotta keep it real with y'all, because I might be the voice of certain people who don't have a voice in the matter. Kenny the Jet Smith was never no revered point guard. Kenny the Jet Smith was never a revered point guard. I learned something yesterday, about him, that he started as a freshman at North Carolina. That's big business. He played with Michael Jordan. That's big business too, but whenever they showed his highlights, all of his highlights was him hitting a 3 or dunking a basketball. You didn't see no penetrating dish. You didn't see no boogie. You didn't see no... He wasn't doing none of that. Boo Harvey, I put that on my Instagram page, Greg Boo Harvey. Boo was in a lot of those pictures. He said none of those documentaries get everything. It's because they be far removed from the fucking topic and they don't be wanting to pay anybody. They could have came up with some consultants. And, the guys who were a part of it, they probably didn't have much say-so in the matter, but somebody was supposed to say, we gotta film Booger. For y'all that don't know, it's a guy named Ed Booger Smith. And he didn't really need to be a part of this documentary. He should have been a part of the documentary, but he didn't need to because he has a documentary of his own. It's called Soul in the Hole. It's called Soul in the Hole. Lenny didn't play point guard. Jamal Tinsley, that was another fatal joint leaving him out. He made the NBA. He's a killer, handle killer. He exemplifies the New York City point guard way more than Kenny the Jet Smith. Don't nobody know about Kenny the Jet Smith doing no boogieing. Don't nobody, Kenny the Jet Smith made it to the NBA. And he ended up in a great position. He ended up on the Houston Rockets with Vernon Maxwell and Clyde Drexler and Akeem Olajuwon and a bunch of other niggas. He was in Sam Cassell, Robert Horry. He was in a great position. And that's how he got his title, but nobody ever equated Kenny Smith with being a point guard. He could shoot, yeah, he could shoot. He was hitting a lot of open jump shots. He had a very, very perfect form jump shot, like his legs be together and everything, and he could hit a bucket if he was left open. Point guard though, he didn't do point guard shit. What I mean by that is, they didn't even present any highlights of him doing any boogieing. Ed Booger Smith, you can go look at, they had a music video for Soul in the Hole, and they had the documentary and shit. And it's footage of him online. Nigga quick as a cat, dribble the ball real low to the ground. Very, very gifted, highly skilled basketball player. Another thing they said was, some of them were saying that Pearl was the most electrifying point guard out of New York City. Or he was the biggest show out of New York City. I think that was Skip to Malou. He said, I ain't gonna lie, I never heard of Smith. Kenny the Jet, he played for the University of North Carolina. He played for the Tar Heels. Yeah, he played for the Tar Heels and he played for the Houston Rockets. Booger would never make it past the playgrounds. Booger played semi-pro basketball. What are you talking about? And not only, we talking about point guards. We're not talking about who made it where. It's niggas in the streets that was better than Kenny the Jet Smith and Mark Jackson. This is the truth. This is the truth. New York got a big pool of point guards and shit. Mark Jackson, after he left the Knicks, I wasn't on him like that, but I know this about him. You wasn't gonna take the ball from him. He used to dribble with his back to people and shit like that. Like, he was very responsible. They said on the documentary that coaches trusted him. I believe coaches trusted him with their team, but they said that the traits that you have to be a New York City point guard was, what they say, showmanship, handle, and something else. Kenny the Jet Smith didn't have no showmanship all like that. I know Earl the GOAT. He was born in North Carolina. I thought he was a New York guard. Was that little bottle turmeric? Nah, that was 100% ginger. Andre Barrett. They ain't gonna never get to the one thing that's unequivocally understood. Skip to Malou was that nigga. Skip to Malou was that nigga. And if you seen the documentary, you seen Skip to Malou rocking my Dribble God basketball shorts. Yeah, Skip had on my basketball shorts in the documentary and shit. I got a lot of airtime. I appreciate that. He said, I like Rod Strickland over Kenny Smith. I do too, and it shows because Rod Strickland is, I think, number 11 or number 13 all time in assists. Kenny the Jet Smith, he didn't register on assists like that. He said scientific. I remember Scientific and Majestic Math. The New York street culture stole a whole lot of talent away from basketball. Yeah, Skip had on my shorts, man. The Dribble God, Concrete OGs. Make sure you go get them. He said, yeah, Skip working with my nephew right now. Overall, I co-signed a documentary. It was better than that Supreme Team shit. One episode, way better than the Supreme Team shit. And they gonna have to do it again. They can't leave Booger out. That can't be the final say-so on it. And it was a lot of niggas left out. Speedy Claxton, I could just go on and on and on. There's niggas from New York that made the NBA, those point guards that was left out of that shit. He said, Scientific went to my school, Rice. He said, they left Sebastian Telfair out. They left a lot of people out. He said Mark Jackson had showmanship. He did. He had the over-the-shoulder pass, the no-look passes and shit like that. He did. Action Jackson. I co-signed his New York point guard title. Kenny the Jet, nah. Kenny the Jet, you're not an NYC point guard. You're an NYC NBA player. Russ Smith, Louisville. We ain't talking about Gangsta Williams right now. We talking about the New York City point guard documentary. Make sure y'all go check it out if y'all didn't see it. It's on Showtime. It's fire. I done watched it like 5 times, 6 times. The first time I watched it, when I seen my shorts, man, my face almost exploded, man. I was like, I didn't know what to say. And I was watching it by myself. And I'm looking around for somebody to say, yo, did you see that? Did you see that? He got my shorts on. Nobody was around but me and the fish. I looked at the fish tank. They can't talk. I just pulled it back. He said, did they go back to Tiny? Yes. Tiny was before my time. Tiny was before my time. Somebody else. Kenny the Jet was kind of before my time, but I did the math on him. He wasn't. Kenny the Jet is tall. There's people who should have been in there that wasn't. That's just the bottom line. He said, shout out to the shorts. Oh, yeah, I got some on right now. Paisley joints. Pee Wee wasn't on there. No, it was for point guards. Damn, it's something I had to say about that shit. It was a lot of people just left out that shouldn't have been left out. I'll just leave it at that. He said Mark Action Jackson, New York City point guard. Official. He said better ballers, DC and New York. Sam Wortham is from Brooklyn. He played for the Chicago Bulls and he played for Marquette. He should have been on there. They said he was the original Magic Johnson. Kenny Anderson, of course, he was on there. Getting back to Tiny Archibald was before my time. Somebody else that they was talking about on there was, Pearl. Pearl was kind of before my time. Like, when Pearl was playing basketball at Syracuse, I started watching the next year. I started watching when Sherman Douglas was the point guard. But I heard about Pearl and shit. I think that they said that Pearl was the greatest college basketball point guard because of what he did to Georgetown. He broke Georgetown's press. But I can't say Pearl was a better college point guard than Kenny Anderson. Kenny Anderson was the shit in college. Kenny Anderson went to the Final Four. Kenny Anderson went to the Final Four. And for them to say that Pearl was the biggest thing in college out of New York City, I was just like, that's a lot. Booger went to JUCO and got in trouble. Your take on Skip was priceless. Skip to Malou was that dude, man. I got pictures of with him on my Instagram page. That nigga tall as shit. That's something that you don't. What's the name's big too? God Sham God is big too. Every last one of them. I've been around every last one of them except for Kenny Anderson. All of them dudes is big. Mark Jackson is tall as fuck, big and tall. When you see them niggas, when you in their presence, you like, oh, this why he an NBA player. Same thing with Skip to Malou. Skip to Malou's tall as a motherfucker. Skip to Malou could catch alley-oops, 2 hands. He just was a finger roll type dude. He didn't like to dunk. Kareem Reid was on there. Kareem Reid was on there. He deserved to be on there. I got a couple phone calls about the Kareem Reid part. Kareem Reid was a McDonald's All-American, and they should have spoke about that. That's big time. That's a big time accomplishment. And they more so associated him with the Fat Joe Terror Squad situation, street ball. And he went to the University of Arkansas, and he was a McDonald's All-American. So they should have, you know, spoke of that a little bit more. Y'all didn't watch it? Y'all asking me all these questions. Y'all didn't watch it? Y'all don't know who was on there? Y'all tripping, man. They showed Kimba. Kimba wasn't on there. Cardiac Kimba wasn't on there. Tiny Archibald, the baddest Hall of Famer, first person I seen drop 50. Stephon was on there. Stephon is acknowledged as one of the New York City point guards that had a jump shot. He said, didn't they start Wojo over Rhea? I don't know. David had Smush Parker on there. Some couple people said Smush shouldn't have been on there. Everybody gonna have their opinion. All in all, I love the documentary, but as I'm watching it, I'm waiting for Booger to come on. I'm like, they gotta show Booger. Booger Smith was so nice. I'm talking about embarrass you. Some of these point guards that, you know, we speaking of, and some of them that was on the documentary, you should ask them who wouldn't they want to stick. And I'm pretty sure a lot of them would say they didn't want to stick Booger. Booger was fast as a motherfucker. Kareem Reid was on there.
It's like you don't need to know, like, you don't need to know, like, what's going on, but, like, I'm telling you.
He said that shirt from a shop in DC. I'm a brand ambassador for several companies. I could be a brand ambassador for you, but people with fashion brands, clothing lines, they send it to the dribble. They send it to the dribble so I can relay these fashion pieces to you all. You see how good I look in it? That's why they sent it to me. See that treble funk? Nah, if I wasn't working out, you wouldn't see that funk like that. It wasn't. Oh, shit. End of August, they got one about the And One guys. Looking forward to that. So we got another one coming up soon. This is a good summer for basketball stories. Sports Illustrated call him the king of the streets. Yeah, I posted Booger on my Instagram page. Make sure you follow me at I am Gully TV _ You gonna get the truth from me. Straight up. Tinsley and Coda wasn't on there. They might have showed them, but they weren't. Steve Burt was a shooter. I meant to watch on premiere day, Showtime, whatever. One of the guys mentioned it due to God, Sham God. I'm glad you brought it up. Lance Stevenson was not on there. Lance was not a point guard, I don't think. I don't think Lance played PG. Is Kevin Durant behind this documentary? Kevin Durant is on it, and I heard his name is associated with it, but they needed a consultant, for real. He said, I wore number 13 because they didn't have 31 because of Pearl. He mesmerized defenders. Born King. I went to tech with Kenny. I was in the gym when he put that move on Hurley. I revisited that move on his channel. Go check it out. Same game, I saw Grant Hill with one of the illest alley dunks I ever seen. Good morning, everybody. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get the notification. G's Mystery Show. Y'all gonna hear a lot about this gentleman right here. He's a poet and MC. He said Gully be in these streets, Gully be in the gym. So I'm able to keep up with it. The behind the back dribble on Hurley was crazy. Spot him, got him. What's good? Good morning, everybody, on a Sunday. I went to my family reunion yesterday. I've been at a family reunion for 3 days. We got a 3-day family reunion. Family reunions change after your grandmother passed away and shit. Family reunion is a totally different experience after grandma passed. The first thing I know, he said, you're definitely right about that. Totally different experience. It was my first time going to a family reunion since 1993. Since 1993. Once I started getting in trouble and going to jail and shit like that, I was missing all the family functions. I told y'all about the last family reunion I was at. Me and my uncle rode on my step-pop. I don't call him my step-pop, but this nigga was married to my mom. Me and my uncle rode on him and shit at the family reunion. I never been back to a family reunion since, but anyway, I went to one. They was smoking reefer in public. It was so much weed smoke, man. I was like, man, if grandma was living, none of this shit would be going on. I thought about my grandmother in her absence and shit. I'm like, he said, how your family treat the celeb Gully TV? A couple of my cousins, they rap. I got cousins out of Virginia, he be rapping, he want me to check him out. My girl cousins, they used to hugging on me and shit like that at family reunions. I've been flossing. I'm one of the ones that was flossing and shit, coming to the family reunion, fly and shit like that. So they was always, let's take a picture, Jamil, and hugging on me and shit like that, but it ain't nothing. It's more so the ones that don't know me, the ones that don't know me, like it was a lot of people at my family reunion that I didn't know, and they was looking, they be looking and shit like, yo, who was dude right there and shit, cause I had on my jewelry and shit. They like, that's Cynthia's son, that's Jamil. They like, so who is he? What do we do and shit? Cause I had on all my jewels and shit. They like, he be on TV. That's what he said. The ones that don't know me, they be excited and shit, you know what I'm saying, running up on me like, damn, that's my cousin and shit. So Booger Smith was a beast. They said they paid homage in the movie He Got Game. He definitely should have been mentioned. I remember him doing a backwards joint on somebody. I can't keep up with you on Instagram. At I am Gully TV _. Yeah. He said that's what's up. The fam is cool. Yeah, they don't. Nah. Most of my family, like, I was a star athlete and shit like that. So You know, whenever we had family gatherings, I always stood out and shit. I had to fly sneakers or, you know, I'm built different, you know my aunts and shit coming to touch me and shit like that. So I'm just Jamil around them and shit. No Terrence Rencher, played for Texas. No Jerry McCullough. Exclusive point guards, man. Talk about point guard legends. The guys that they had on there was official, except for Kenny Smith. Kenny Smith was no point guard. He wasn't. No. Mm-mm. Gully in the chat, much love. You think they gave Kareem to try to play with Jay? I don't understand what you're saying. Rephrase that, man. They should have mentioned Ed Booger Smith. He should have had a feature, a mainstream feature on the project. That just shouldn't have came out without Booger. It's impossible. He said Kenny Smith was definitely a political industry pick. And dude, stop fucking calling me. He said that's the proper answer. He'd be on TV. Even though he's not from New York City, they shouldn't have left Bone Collector out. I think Bone Collector should have been able to talk and say how he felt about Skip to My Lou and shit like that. Oh, they don't fuck with Bone Collector all like that. I'm tripping. They don't fuck with Bone like that. What's your thoughts on Man Ago? Is he the street baller legend in your book? He's not from my generation. I didn't see him play. Street ball generation, street ballers of my generation is Skip, Alamo, Baby Shaq, niggas like that and shit. Kenny Smith brother is the man. AO from N1, Philly. Future is from my generation. Future had his own joint called On Hollow Ground. When they tried to bribe Kareem Reid to get him to play with Jay in the Rucker, how much you think that bag was? I don't know. It's hard to turn Jay-Z down and shit. If I was a point guard, I'd play for Jay-Z. Kareem played for the Terror Squad, though. They were talking point guards that went to college or NBA, not playground kings. Oh, okay. Yeah, all of them dudes did go to college. Mark Jackson, St. John's, Kenny Smith, North Carolina. Skip went to Fresno State. Rod Strickland went to DePaul. Yeah, I think you're right. You see that old telephone pole flyer shirt. This comes from Grindstone, DC. Shout out to Grindstone. It's an old poster joint. I had one of these joints on. I got a different one. A long sleeve joint I had on in the airport. They was going crazy. Lamar Odom was a point guard in high school. Kyrie and Scooney Penn were basically New York guards. They had major wreck in the city. None of these people that y'all named, it was on there. It was Rod Strickland, Kenny the Jet, Kenny Anderson, Kareem Reid, Skip to My Lou, and Pearl Washington. Dwayne Pearl Washington from Brooklyn. He's deceased. He passed a couple years ago. My folks got that original Trouble Funk poster. I got a basketball card of Rod Strickland. Rod Strickland is Kyrie's. Rod Strickland is Kyrie's godfather. Good morning, y'all. Share this live stream. We talking about the NYC Point Guard documentary on Showtime. Make sure y'all go see it. It's worth a watch. I watched it 6 times. Easy. Easy 6. Anyway, I had to get on here briefly and let everybody know my opinion on it. I give it a thumbs up, 2 thumbs up, but there's no way possible you can talk about basketball, point guards, point G-O-D. There's qualifications. You feel me? Ain't no point guards birthed in the NBA. You a point guard long before you get there. So I don't think the NBA should have been like the measuring stick, because there's some niggas that'll tear your ass up, yo. Tear your ass up that never set foot in the league and shit. Fred, what's good? I was just thinking about you. I ain't seen you uploading. Tales from the Pen in the Build. Y'all go subscribe to my man Fred. Maybe he'll put out a video or 2. He said they left a lot out. They left a lot of essential people out. But I talked to Shane the Dribbling Machine on the phone immediately. It's too many. It's too many point guards in New York City, yo. There's too many. They breed point guards.
Do you like Thai food at all? Or the Thai eatery?
I did notice that everybody that was on there went to college, though.
So I ordered it.
That shouldn't have been the criteria. Going to college shouldn't have been the criteria, because niggas be point guards long before they get to them universities. He said facts. They said, I know someone mentioned Jamal Tinsley from the door. He said, shout out to Shane and Future. I wish that they told the story correctly, because I got peers that play basketball from New York. I know a lot of them niggas, man. I love them niggas. They love me. They done gave me love. I got a basketball relationship with. They shouldn't have watched that joint and afterwards said to themselves, damn, man, I wish I could have been on there, or I shouldn't have been left out of that. I was nice too. They shouldn't have did that, because they shouldn't have did that. Even if someone wasn't being profiled, for instance, if I'm profiling Kareem Reid and Skip to Malou, both of these guys played for a university, but they street ball players. I would have street ball point guards talk about them on the production. I would have had like Future. I would have Future or Shane talking about them niggas and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they should have been included. They shouldn't have been excluded from the project. You feel me? And I think that's real and shit. I think that's real. He said, Bone Collector be on YouTube. Cameron's testimony was good money. Cameron played with all of them dudes. He played with all of them. He grew up with them niggas and shit. Cameron played ball and shit. I don't know if Cameron was a point. I think he was. The highlights that I seen, he was shooting the ball every time he touched it. I think he was a point. He said Kareem definitely had to be on the list. He was. Cameron went to college for basketball. He said, gotta respect the jokes. He said, could Murder Mook play? They said he could. I think I seen Mook dribbling the ball before. I think I seen Murder Mook dribbling before. He got a little handle and a jump shot. I seen him shoot a jumper before too. He said Sweet Pea Daniels was the best out of New York City. Can't say that, man. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the best out of New York City. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, end of story. As far as guards and point guards, they gonna argue that forever. In my lifetime, it wasn't Pearl, it was Kenny Anderson. It was Kenny Anderson, hands down. I'm gonna ask somebody who's older, maybe like Shane or Bimmy or somebody who know basketball, and ask them, on your opinion, was Pearl better than Kenny Anderson? That's a lot to say, man, for real. He said Cam was All-American. Yeah, they said that, I need y'all to go watch that video. Fred Money, J.R. Ryder, and Dave East. I need y'all to go watch it. I need y'all to comment. And I need y'all to go and subscribe to Fred Money's channel. If y'all go to that video, Fred Money's information is right in the description. Go and watch that video. It's fire. I premiered that joint. I be hitting y'all with a lot of premieres and shit. Shout out to everybody who trusts me to release their video. Word. Eric Murdoch was a butch. Y'all naming shooters. Dave East was a 2-guard. That track was fire. Thank you. My album is on the way. I got a lot of killers on my album. Shout out to Willie the Kid, Edos, X, Mr. Fab. I got some killers on the album, man. Y'all gonna be shocked. For real. Nice the Future. They dead wrong for not having Booger Smith. Dead wrong. Just totally wrong in so many senses of the word. Even if he didn't go to school and shit like that, he was such a big deal. You heard from Marco. You've been bumping that on the West Side Highway. Booger, my all-time favorite point guard. By the way, him and Mel at the Rucker was the shit. Soul in the Hole was fire. FaZe and Sampson, can you please tell me what we're talking about? We're talking about the New York City point guard documentary. It premiered Friday on Showtime. It's fire. It's an hour and something minutes. It's fire. Go check it out. But there's a point guard from New York City named Booger Smith. Ed Booger Smith. There's no way possible that you can tell a point guard story about New York City and not mention this boy. This nigga was bloodthirsty nice, man. He was quick as a cat. I'm talking about just, I wonder who was better. Shout out to Kenny King. Skip told me this. Skip the Malou told me this. He said the difference between me and the rest of these niggas, he said, I put 30 points on your ass. He said, they don't tell you that. He said, I'll put 30 points on your ass with the handle. Put 30 on you.
I mean, it started at like 2 or something, and like, I was like full for the rest of the night.
He said they don't have Showtime. You can download the app to your phone. As a matter of fact, they got a free trial right now. If you don't got Showtime, you can watch it for free right now. Just go and sign up for the app. All right. Anyway, it's time to smoke. I gotta. He said Skip wasn't better than Flip. Flip who? Flip who? Please tell me who you're talking about. Flip Murray. Flip Murray can't fuck with no Skip to Malou. Flip wasn't no point guard anyway. He was a scorer. Flip Murray's from Philly. All that ginger getting caught up in there. Anyway, it's time to blow. This is the last day of my family reunion. I'm going to enjoy my family. I regret all of the years that I was away from them, because it was years that I was on the street and just didn't go to the family reunion, and that's sucker shit, because we only here for a short time. I had a good time with my uncles and my aunts and shit like that. I got a nickname growing up, and my shorty was there. She was cracking up hearing my aunts and them call me by my nickname. I had to prepare her. I said, when we get out here, if you hear them say Snoopy, if you hear them calling me Snoopy and shit, I'm like, that was my name when I was a little kid and shit. It's corny as fuck, but my aunts still called me that. Nobody else but my aunts and uncles. He said, I remember the family reunion story you told on here. I'm just now making it back to a family reunion and shit. I just made it back to a family reunion yesterday for the first time since 1993. I've never been back to a family reunion. Boom, boom, boom. Anyway. Y'all naming all these dudes. I got to get out of here, man. I appreciate y'all for coming through. Follow me on Twitter at Gully TV1. Instagram at @IamGullyTV_. Go to my website, www.therealdribble.com. He said, when you get older, you realize how short life is. You're right about that. www.therealdribble.com. Go get you some of my signature luxury basketball shorts. If you watched the New York City point guard documentary, you see my shorts on the documentary. Skip to My Lou was rocking them when he was dribbling in the clouds. Go play that shit back. Say, damn, them is the dribble shorts and shit. Get your dribble right, like Skip did. www.therealdribble.com. About to get up out of here. He said the only part of the documentary I didn't like seeing was Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. is from New York City. If y'all notice, when they doing these mainstream documentaries, they try to use big personalities. Fat Joe was on there. Chuck D was on there. You know, I don't know. Anyway, shout out to Boo Harvey from Queens. Shout out to Skip to My Lou. I appreciate what you did for me, pimp. I'm about to get up out of here. Make sure y'all go check out the New York City point guard documentary. Peace.